Richmond in September signals the end of the race to the chase. Kasey Kahne has 2 victories this season, but back-to-back 40th place finishes at Michigan and Bristol have dropped him to 14th in points, just 48 points out of 12th. 2 years ago, Kahne raced his way into the chase with a win at Fontana and a top 5 at Richmond. But this year may be a different story. Last fall at Richmond, an unheralded rookie named David RAGAN scored a surprising top 5 of his own, finishing 3rd ahead of names like BUSCH, Edwards, and EARNHARDT Jr. Tonight, the amazing sophomore comes into the same race, just 17 points shy of joining those names in this year's chase for the championship. But to do that, REGAN will have to bump out Clint Boyer, 3rd in points last year and winner here last May. Another win tonight would not only guarantee Boyer a spot in the chase, but make him the 2nd driver in as many years to sweep the season at Richmond. Still searching for his first Richmond victory is hometown hero Denny Hamlin. The 11 car sat on the pole in May and led a record 381 laps before a flat tire in the final stages relegated him to a 24th place finish. Tonight, Hamlin has revenge on his mind and momentum on his side. 2 straight 3rd place finishes after his engine failure at Michigan. All this and much more, including Junior versus BUSCH versus Edwards, next in the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. And here is how they'll line up for today's running of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. For the 6th time this season, qualifying was rained out, so the front row has Bristol rivals Rowdy Kyle Busch, the point leader, and Concrete Carl Edwards. Row 2, Jimmie Johnson, who dominated last week at Fontana, swept both Richmond races last year, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. nearly picked up his 4th Richmond win back in May. Row 3, Jeff Burton won here in a thrilling finish with Jeff Gordon 10 years ago, and the Biffmeister, Greg Biffle, was 2nd last week. To Row 4, happy Kevin Harvick won this race in 06, and the last time the Rushville Rocket, Tony Stewart, went winless this long into a season, he won this race as a rookie in 1999. Row 5, Wisconsin's mighty Matt Kenseth won here in 2002, and Jeff Gordon is a 2-time Richmond winner. The 6th row belongs to Denny Hamlin, who led the most laps by far here in May, and Agent Single 07, Clint Boyer, who went to victory lane that night. Row 7, the amazing David RAGAN knows what he has to do to make the chase, and so does Kasey Kahne, who took his first checkered flag here in the spring of 05. To Row 8, it's Brian Vickers in the Red Bull colors, and the Rocket Man 2003 winner, Ryan Newman. Row 9 has Mark Martin from Arkansas, who won here back in 1990, and teammate Martin Truex Jr. from New Jersey. Row 10, Joplin, Missouri's Jamie McMurray is there, next to Kurt Busch in the Blue Deuce. Row 11 has the Dodges of the Master of Disguise, Elliott Sadler, and Colombian Juan Pablo Montoya. Row 12 is where you'll find Corpus Christi's Bobby Labonte and the Ford of Travis Quapple. Row 13 has Casey Mears and the Silver and Grape 38 of David Gilliland. In the 14th row, David REUTIMANN had an excellent race in California, and the bright yellow fella, Paul Menard, is there as well. Row 15, sleek and swift, Regan Smith starts next to Georgia's Reed Sorensen. In row 16, the silver slinger, A.J. Allmendinger was last week's outside pole sitter, and lines up today next to the Buckeye Bullet, Dave Blaney. Row 17, Scotty Riggs is there, and so is the Napa Maniac, Michael Waltrip. The 18th row has independent campaigner Robbie Gordon and Defiance, Ohio rookie Sam Hornish Jr. Row 19, the Texas Twister, Michael McDowell is back behind the wheel of the 00 with a threat from Joliet, Patrick Carpentier on his outside. Row 20, Kenny Schrader rolls out of the DLP machine, and fellow veteran Kyle Petty is the only driver in today's field who's won at the old Richmond Fairgrounds. Row 21, 2003 spring winner Furniture Row Joe Nemechek is joined by the 1992 winner of that event, awesome Bill Elliott in the Wood Brothers Ford. And in row 22, all by himself, Johnny Sergeant Sauter is back in the 2nd Haas Chevy. Missing the race this week when Tropical Storm Hanna rolled in are Tony Raines in the front row motorsports machine, racing prodigy Joey Logano in a 4th Gibbs car will have to wait another week to make his Cup debut, and veteran Sterling Marlin was sent home as well. There's your field for the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond.